Xiaoyu, when you kissed him, did your hands wander? How was his capital? Min, go to hell. On the other side, Lin Feng, who had showered and returned to his room, lay on his bed, reminiscing about everything that had happened today. At this moment, Lin Feng felt like he was dreaming. His goddess, whom he never thought would become his girlfriend. Recalling the 3 passionate kisses tonight, Lin Feng even wanted to sing a song. Today is a good day, everything you wish for can come true. However, joy aside, there was still one thing he needed to do. He opened his computer, logged into his social media platform, took a picture of his marriage certificate with Ye Xiaoyu, and scheduled it to be posted at 6 o'clock the next morning. After doing all this, Lin Feng closed his computer, ready to rest. He felt that this photo of the marriage certificate should be enough to deal with the reporters. The night passed uneventfully. The next morning, Lin Feng woke up early as usual. This had been his habit for over a year, waking up early to prepare breakfast. By the time he had breakfast ready, Ye Xiaoyu had also woken up, washed, and was ready to eat. For the past 6 months, Ye Xiaoyu had also been coming over for breakfast. As Lin Feng finished washing up and was about to prepare breakfast, he found the kitchen filled with a clatter, like a battle was taking place. If it weren't for the fact that this was a high-end villa community, Lin Feng would have thought there was a burglar in the house. He rushed into the kitchen, only to find Ye Xiaoyu, who had woken up at some unknown time, already busy in the kitchen. This was quite amusing. Lin Feng stood with his arms crossed, quietly watching Ye Xiaoyu bustling about in the kitchen. Perhaps Ye Xiaoyu was top-notch in business, but her cooking left much to be desired. Watching her fumbling, Lin Feng suddenly found this side of Ye Xiaoyu somewhat cute. As if noticing Lin Feng, Ye Xiaoyu turned her head, and when Ye Xiaoyu turned her head, Lin Feng burst out laughing. Somehow, Ye Xiaoyu's face was covered in soup. Her morning makeup was somewhat smudged. Even funnier, there was a streak of black ash on her lips, looking like 2 mustaches, which was quite humorous. I say, my dear, why don't you go fix your makeup first? Look at the mess you've made, Lin Feng said with a laugh, shooing Ye Xiaoyu out of the kitchen and busying himself. Ye Xiaoyu quickly reapplied her makeup and tiptoed back into the kitchen, embracing Lin Feng from behind. Lin Feng was startled at first, then felt a little relieved. Lin Feng didn't turn around but asked softly, what made you decide to get up and make breakfast today? I saw in these shows and novels that girls always make breakfast for their boyfriends, Ye Xiaoyu said, embracing Lin Feng and chuckling softly. But I had no idea cooking was so hard. I usually see you in the kitchen and it looks so easy. Haha, everyone has their specialty. Your hands are for signing documents. Leave cooking to me from now on. Lin Feng turned around, gently rubbing Ye Xiaoyu's waist as he spoke softly. Then, what about the love breakfast? Ye Xiaoyu asked. Making a love breakfast for my girlfriend every day is also something a boyfriend should do, Lin Feng said with a smile. You're so good, Ye Xiaoyu said, rubbing Lin Feng's neck with a lovesick expression. Then, their lips gently met. Ding. Dong. Just then, the doorbell rang. Ye Xiaoyu said unhappily, who is it, ringing the doorbell so early in the morning? Who else could it be? Of course, it's Xiao Tong. You go open the door, I'll be done here in a moment, Lin Feng said with a smile. Older female cousin brother-in-law, did you sleep well last night? Opening the door, it was indeed Ye Xiao Tong, just as Lin Feng had expected. I say, Xiao Tong, why do you come here to freeload on breakfast every day? Can't you cook for yourself at home? Seeing Ye Xiao Tong, Ye Xiaoyu couldn't help but immediately start bickering. This completely baffled Ye Xiao Tong. No, older female cousin, I've been freeloading for half a year now. Isn't it a bit inappropriate for you to bring this up today? After a few seconds, Ye Xiao Tong reacted. Oh, you're annoyed that I'm here being a third wheel. However, the more this happened, the more Ye Xiao Tong wanted to come. After all, what could be more exciting than being on the scene for all the gossip? Brother-in-law, is breakfast ready? I'm getting a bit hungry, Ye Xiao Tong said loudly, sitting in a chair and calling out to Lin Feng, who was busy in the kitchen. Coming, Lin Feng said, bringing out 3 bowls of noodles from the kitchen. Here, Xiao Tong, this is yours, and this is Xiaoyu's. Lin Feng placed the noodles in front of Ye Xiao Tong and Ye Xiaoyu. Then he took out the steamed xiaolong bao from the kitchen, arranged them, and came to the dining table, sitting closely next to Ye Xiaoyu. Ye Xiao Tong looked at the noodles in front of her. Not bad, it was preserved vegetable and shredded pork noodles. However, Ye Xiao Tong had a question. brother-in-law, isn't your favoritism a bit too much? Older female cousin's bowl is full of shredded pork, but look at my bowl, it's full of preserved vegetables. And most importantly, why does only older female cousin's bowl have a poached egg, and mine doesn't? And the poached egg is even heart-shaped. Xiaoyu, you work very hard, eat more meat. However, Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu seemed to not have heard what Ye Xiaotan was saying. Lin Feng kept picking out all the shredded pork from his bowl and putting it into Ye Xiaoyu's bowl. Did either of you hear what I said? Ye Xiaotan said helplessly. Oh, don't pick it out for me. You should eat more too after all. Creative work also requires brain power. If I eat so much, it's easy to get fat, Ye Xiaoyu said quickly when she saw Lin Feng picking all the shredded pork for her. You won't, Xiaoyu has such a good figure, you won't get fat no matter how much you eat, Lin Feng said with a smile. What if I turn into a big fatty in the future? Ye Xiaoyu asked, looking at Lin Feng with both eyes. Even if Xiaoyu gets as fat as a pig, I'll still like her, Lin Feng said. You're the one who's as fat as a pig, Ye Xiaoyu said, gently hitting Lin Feng and laughing. Hey, can you two lovebirds pay attention? I'm still here, Ye Xiaotan complained weakly. Watching the two completely ignore her, Ye Xiaotan hugged her noodle bowl and slurped it down, making a particularly loud sound. But Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu seemed to not notice her at all. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu picked up a piece of shredded pork to put into Lin Feng's mouth, but just as Lin Feng was about to touch it, she pulled her chopsticks back. It's over, these two are over, completely corroded by the nauseating smell of love. Ye Xiaotan had already finished her noodles, but Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu's bowls had barely been touched. Ye Xiaotan felt a sudden wave of nausea watching Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu openly flaunting their affection in front of her. Shipping a couple to this extent was something else, but then she thought, this wasn't her problem. It was that the couple she was shipping was truly sickeningly sweet. What should have been a simple breakfast turned into an hour-and-a-half affair with Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu's public display of affection. It was already 9 o'clock. But it didn't matter, no one would rush them. After all, Ye Xiaoyu was the boss. All right, I'm going to work. After eating, Ye Xiaoyu stood up and said to Ye Xiaotan, let's go. We have a meeting this morning. Thank you for remembering there's a meeting this morning, Ye Xiaotan said speechlessly. How was it, Xiaotan, are you full? Ye Xiaoyu asked again. I'm not full from the noodles, but I'm full from the public display of affection you two lovebirds gave me. Based on our group's market share this year, the Ye Group's total revenue for the entire year will reach a very considerable height. This is not only the result of the collective efforts of all employees, but also a strong manifestation of our precise market positioning and efficient operational strategies. At the meeting, a director in a sharp suit and with an extraordinary demeanor stood at the podium. He held a laser pointer, gesturing at the continuously rising numbers on the large screen, eloquently analyzing the brilliant achievements the company had made so far this year. Below, a dozen managers from relevant departments sat in neat rows, all focused, their pens flying across their notebooks, afraid to miss any important information. However, in stark contrast to this tense and serious atmosphere, was Ye Xiaoyu sitting in the corner. She leaned back in her chair, relaxed and at ease, her slender fingers deftly playing with her phone, a faint smile always gracing her lips, as if completely immersed in another world. Just then, her phone screen suddenly lit up, and a new message popped into view. I just left you for a bit, and I'm already missing you. The sender was Lin Feng. Seeing this message, a sweet ripple spread through Ye Xiaoyu's heart, and her already bright smile became even more gentle and endearing. She quickly tapped the screen with her fingertip, replying, "Me too." 3 simple words, yet full of endless affection. As this message was sent, the distance between the two seemed to instantly shorten, and their longing was transmitted through invisible waves to each other's hearts. So my suggestion is to increase investment scale next year, strive to get our brand into major shopping malls, and also to innovate. My suggestion is that next year we can utilize online platforms, gather the power of netizens to search for local folk delicacies. As the PP scrolled, the general manager presented his plans for the coming year. What do you think, General Manager Yi? Finally, after he finished speaking, he quietly asked Ye Xiaoyu. However, at this moment, Ye Xiaoyu was still chatting on her phone with Lin Feng, the smile on her face showing no signs of fading, completely oblivious to what the man had said. General Manager Yi, General Manager Yi, The man called out twice more, but Ye Xiaoyu still showed no reaction. Finally, Ye Xiaotong couldn't stand it anymore and gently kicked Ye Xiaoyu. Until Ye Xiaoyu finally came back to her senses and glanced at Ye Xiaotong. Ye Xiaotong glared at Ye Xiaoyu as if to say, "Can you two lovebirds flirt at another time? We're in a meeting." That's right, in Ye Xiaotong's eyes, Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Feng at this moment were a pair of lovebirds emitting the stench of romance. Ye Xiaoyu finally came back to her senses, but at this moment, she realized that everyone's eyes were on her. "General Manager Hu, are you finished?" Ye Xiaoyu looked up and asked the man. "Does anyone else have anything to say?" Ye Xiaoyu then looked around at everyone. "Okay, since everyone thinks General Manager Hu's proposal is good, then General Manager Hu, please take the trouble to organize your suggestions and next year's plans into a written document and give it to me as soon as possible," Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. "Okay, no problem, General Manager Yi. I will submit the document to you within a week." General Manager Hu nodded, and then returned to his seat. "Does anyone else have anything to say? If not, then the meeting is adjourned." With that, Ye Xiaoyu was the first to stand up and leave, leaving everyone in the conference room looking at each other in dismay. "General Manager Yi seems a bit off today," some department managers whispered at this moment. "Xiao Tong, what's wrong with General Manager Yi? I've never seen General Manager Yi like this during a meeting before." General Manager Hu came over to Ye Xiaotong and quietly asked. "The pungent smell of romance. Even a strong woman like General Manager Yi has been corrupted," Ye Xiaotong said, patting General Manager Hu's shoulder with a smile after packing up her things. "General Manager Hu, do you really not pay attention to the news at all?" "Oh," the General Manager Hu then thought of yesterday's sensational news and nodded. "I think General Manager Yi will remain in this state for a while, so you all need to be more careful with business matters," Ye Xiaotong said before leaving the conference room. After Ye Xiaotong left the conference room, she went to the second conference room, where everyone waiting for the meeting had already arrived. When these people saw Ye Xiaotong, they all stood up. "Where is General Manager Yi?" Ye Xiaotong asked. "Isn't General Manager Yi in a meeting with the catering department?" The people in the conference room were also stunned at this moment. "Damn it," Ye Xiaotong couldn't help but curse and went to Ye Xiaoyu's office. Sure enough, Ye Xiaoyu was on the phone with someone. "I miss you very much too. I wish I could miss you every minute and every second," Ye Xiaoyu said sickeningly, and there was no need to guess who she was talking to. Ye Xiaotong's blood pressure instantly shot up. She rushed to Ye Xiaoyu's side and snatched the phone. "Hey, you two lovebirds are enough. If you want to show off your affection, wait until you get home." After saying that, she hung up the phone. "Xiaotong, what are you doing?" Ye Xiaoyu was a little confused. "My older female cousin, what are you doing? Is this the time for you two to show off your affection? General Manager Han of the Development Department and others are still waiting for you to hold a meeting in the second conference room." Oh no, I forgot," Ye Xiaoyu said hurriedly, walking towards the second conference room. After taking 2 steps, she turned back and said to Ye Xiaotong, "Xiaotong, give me back my phone." "Dream on, I'll give it back to you after the meeting," Ye Xiaotong said, taking Ye Xiaoyu's phone and striding towards the second conference room. "No, Xiaotong, give it back to me. I promise I won't play with it anymore, okay?" And Ye Xiaoyu followed closely behind. Good heavens, who was the secretary, and who was the boss? Hello. On the other side, Lin Feng was also a little bewildered after Ye Xiaotong hung up the phone. When did this girl get so bold? "Oh my goodness, brother-in-law, you're really done. Now you have time to listen to me, right?" In a similar predicament to Ye Xiaotong, Ye Xiaofen was also speechless at this moment. If anyone could understand Ye Xiaotong's words the most at this moment, Ye Xiaofen was undoubtedly the one. His brother-in-law and older female cousin, the two of them initially pretended to be serious. Now it's good, after they got together, they were so disgustingly affectionate. When he talked to Lin Feng about things, Lin Feng wouldn't listen, and even if he did, he would just let it go in one ear and out the other like an idiot. It was absolutely true to call them lovebirds. "Can't you two be affectionate when you get home?" This was the common sentiment of Ye Xiaotong and Ye Xiaofen at this moment. "Brother-in-law, can you listen to me now?" Seeing Lin Feng put his phone back in his pocket, Ye Xiaofen finally spoke again. "Go on, what's so important that you have to keep running to me?" Lin Feng said helplessly. Brother-in-law, we've been messed with again, Ye Xiaoyu shouted loudly. The word again was used very artfully. The first time he was messed with was when his career had just started. At that time, dozens of media companies bribed all the gossip media reporters in Modu to target him, aiming to block Lin Feng's avenues of speech and ruin his reputation. Ultimately, with the help of Kumao music platform, Lin Feng tore open a path with a song called Bai Yao Wo Don't Bite Me. Then, Ye Xiaoyu stepped in and directly made Lin Feng the brand ambassador for Make clothing, which allowed Lin Feng to escape that predicament. The second time he was messed with was at the end of last month. Again, over a dozen entertainment companies united to launch a superstar, Su Chen, hoping to completely crush Lin Feng in album sales with Su Chen's immense popularity. As a result, Lin Feng accepted the challenge, and, with an unparalleled album, once again trampled those who sought to harm him. And now, someone wants to mess with him again. This is a bit much. As the saying goes, once, twice, but not 3 or 4 times. If you keep messing with me like this, shouldn't I fight back? Lin Feng's temper flared, but before retaliating, the first thing Lin Feng needed to do was understand how these people planned to mess with him this time. Tell me, how exactly do these people want to mess with me? Lin Feng said with a hint of disdain. The current Lin Feng is not the same as the previous Lin Feng. Before, it was just him and Ye Xiaoyu. But now it's different. Do you know Ye Xiaoyu? She's someone who, with a stomp of her foot, can make the entire Modu, and even the entire Huaxia business world, tremble 3 times. And such a person is now his Lin Feng's girlfriend. To put it nicely, she's Lin Feng's girl. Do these entertainment companies and gossip media who want to mess with him not want to continue in business? Do they still want to mess with him? If he angers his girlfriend, and his girlfriend gets mad, it's not impossible for her to make these people lose everything, their families scattered, and their reputations ruined. That's right, Lin Feng is now going to cling to the thigh of his beautiful, wealthy, talented, and powerful CEO girlfriend. What's the deal? Lin Feng just wants to ask everyone present. He's going to cling to his CEO girlfriend's thigh. What can you do about it? This is also why Lin Feng is so arrogant in asking Ye Xiaoyu how they plan to mess with him this time. Isn't it almost the end of December? A few days ago I received many invitations from various stations hoping that you, brother-in-law, could attend their New Year's Eve concert. This morning, these 3 stations suddenly called me to say that their celebrity lineup was already full and they didn't need us anymore. And one station even told me that it was because your performance fee, brother-in-law, was too expensive, but I hadn't even given a quote yet. Ye Xiaoyu said indignantly, don't you think, brother-in-law, that we've been messed with again? New Year's Eve concerts, which are held on December 31st, are when various stations invite celebrities to perform on that day to celebrate the New Year with everyone. This trend initially started across the strait in Wanwan, Taiwan. And in Huaxia, Mango TV was the first to hold a New Year's Eve concert. Because the New Year's Eve concert directly gave Mango TV a record-breaking lead in viewership that day, allowing Mango TV to earn a huge profit. Other TV stations saw it and thought, wow, is it that profitable, buddy? So, they also successively began to hold New Year's Eve concerts on that day. And to snatch viewership ratings, major TV stations began to vie for celebrities, inviting popular stars to their concerts at high prices to boost ratings. Some celebrities were so popular that they even had to rush to 2 different locations on that day. As this year's breakout singer, Lin Feng naturally became the first choice for major TV stations. So some time ago, Ye Xiaoyu received invitation letters from over a dozen TV stations. However, for some unknown reason, these TV stations today all expressed their refusal to Lin Feng's participation. Isn't the change in attitude too drastic? Isn't it just a New Year's Eve concert? What's the point of attending that? Lin Feng, however, said indifferently. Why stand in the cold wind there when he could be at home with Xiaoyu being affectionate? Wouldn't that be better? Moreover, he hadn't formally introduced Xiaoyu to his parents at home yet. Yu even called him today, saying that his parents wanted him and Xiaoyu to come home for dinner when they had time. No, I can't swallow this insult. I must fight them to the end, Ye Xiaoyu said angrily at this moment. Then what do you want to do? Lin Feng said with a smile, crossing his legs and looking at Ye Xiaoyu. I've decided, since no one invited us to participate in a New Year's Eve concert, then we can hold our own concert, Ye Xiaoyu declared grandly, waving his hand. Hold your own concert? You're really something for thinking that up, Lin Feng complained helplessly. Brother-in-law, I'm serious. Brother-in-law, don't worry about it this time, just watch. This time I will completely trample all of them underfoot, Ye Xiaoyu said seriously. All right, I'll wait to see your performance, Lin Feng nodded and said seriously. No, brother-in-law, you're really not going to get involved? Ye Xiaoyu's tone suddenly shifted as he looked at Lin Feng. Then how do you want me to get involved? Lin Feng was a bit speechless. Ye Xiaoyu immediately recounted everything he planned to do next, which made Lin Feng's eyelids twitch. After Ye Xiaoyu finished speaking, Lin Feng stared directly at Ye Xiaoyu. What's wrong, brother-in-law? Is my plan not good? Ye Xiaoyu asked, looking at Lin Feng. Of course not, your plan is truly excellent. You're indeed your sister's biological brother, just like your sister. You have business acumen, Lin Feng affirmed Ye Xiaoyu's idea. But I have one question. What question? I have a date with your sister that night. Where would I find the time? You're really too much. Would you die if you skipped one day of dating? Besides, my sister also has something to do that night and doesn't have time to go on a date with you. Ye Xiaoyu roared loudly. Will you die if you don't see each other for one night? Will you die? Ye Xiaoyu roared at Lin Feng. His voice was so loud that everyone outside could hear it clearly. Now that the matter between Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu had been exposed, Ye Xiaoyu no longer needed to hide anything and could openly confront Lin Feng. No, but I'll go crazy, Lin Feng said cautiously, with that expression, that tone, that cheap look. Even if the other party was his brother-in-law, Ye Xiaoyu had to teach him a good lesson. Ye Xiaoyu closed all the floor-length curtains, locked the door, and then started rolling up his sleeves, ready for a big fight. That's right, no matter who's behind this mischief, since they want to mess with us, then we must fight back. As the saying goes, my fate is my own, not heaven's. Half an hour later, Lin Feng came out of his office and shouted loudly, his tone full of high spirits. But if we really want to do this, I probably can't handle it alone. We'll need some helpers. After the initial exuberance, Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu returned to reality. Yes, with only Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Feng, it would be very difficult to go head-to-head with the entire entertainment industry and various satellite TV stations. I got it. I'll call Sister Shayin and Chen Zixuan right now, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Hearing Ye Xiaoyu say this, Lin Feng's eyelids twitched. Good heavens, he only knew these two people in the entire entertainment industry, but Ye Xiaoyu was good at it. He was treating them like two sheep to be shorn to death. Wait a moment, our most important problem right now is, where do we have the venue to hold a concert? Seeing Ye Xiaoyu about to make a call, Lin Feng quickly stopped him. Good heavens, if they got people to come but had no place to hold the concert, that would be a huge joke. Don't worry, my sister owns a manor, we can ask her to lend it to us. Instead of calling it a concert, we might as well call it a fan meeting, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile, and then began to dial the number. Hello, Sister Shayin, it's Xiao Fan. By the way, Sister Shayin, do you have any plans for New Year's Eve on December 31st? Have you decided which satellite TV station you'll be celebrating New Year's with? I haven't decided yet. Why? Do you have any good suggestions? Gang Shayin asked with a smile over the phone. I have an immature suggestion. I don't know why, but my brother-in-law has been messed with again. The New Year's Eve concert that was originally planned is now, well, there are no invitations. So my brother-in-law and I decided to do something big, to host our own New Year's Eve fan meeting. We're going to confront these guys head-on. A fan meeting? How will that work? Gang Shayin became interested. It's just inviting some friends to eat, chat, and sing together on New Year's Eve. You can also think of it as a regular party, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Of course, if you have any friends, you can also invite them to come and have fun. That's interesting, but Xiao Fan, my dear brother, what's in it for your sister if I agree to go? Gang Shayin asked with a smile. Of course there are benefits. As long as Sister Shayin is willing to come, I'll write 3 songs for you for free. And of course, if Sister Shayin can bring other singers, my brother-in-law said he can write some songs for them too. Ye Xiaoyu patted his chest, guaranteeing it. Heh, it seems your brother-in-law is really going all out to fight back this time, Gang Shayin said with a smile. That's right, these little things keep bothering us again and again. This time I'm going to make them realize why flowers are so red, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Alright, since that's the case I agree. Just send me the address when the time comes. Dang Shayan agreed with a smile. All right then, Sister Shayan, it's settled, Ye Xiaoyu said, then hung up the phone. Hello Sister Zixuan, have you had lunch? I'm not doing anything in particular, just wanted to invite you to eat and foster some good feelings. What? Is brother-in-law next to me? What about it if brother-in-law is next to me? I don't believe brother-in-law would misunderstand anything between us. Do you have any plans for this New Year's Eve concert? Oh right, I forgot you've already announced your retirement from the music scene. But, sister, I'm planning to hold a fan meeting on New Year's Eve. That's right, we're going to fight these people to the end. Of course, what's the point of this fan meeting without you, sister? What, you have a date with brother-in-law that day? I don't understand, you're already married, so what's the point of dating? How about this, you tell brother-in-law, what's the point of just the two of you dating? You tell brother-in-law to come over too, and you two can show off your affection in front of us, Ye Xiaoyu said excitedly, casually lighting a cigarette and taking a puff. Sister, you agreed? Thank you, sister. I'm on my knees for you. Ye Xiaoyu then patted the table next to him and said excitedly, I'm kowtowing to you. Lin Feng, who was standing by, watched with twitching eyelids. Ye Xiaoyu was truly shameless to invite Chen Zixuan, wasn't he? Are 3 singers enough? Ye Xiaoyu asked Lin Feng at this moment. Of course not, it's a 4-hour performance. Are you really planning to have just the 3 of us? Lin Feng said with a smile. If we want to make this fan meeting a success, this won't do, Lin Feng said with a smile. Then let's divide the work. There are only 10 days left until the time comes. Your task is to quickly write songs and also talk to my sister about borrowing her manner. Ye Xiaoyu nodded and said. Why do I have to borrow it? Lin Feng was a bit confused. Nonsense, who made her your woman? Whoever's woman, that person deals with it, Ye Xiaoyu said righteously. Oh, and brother-in-law, there's one more thing. Suddenly, Ye Xiaoyu seemed to remember something and said to Lin Feng excitedly. What is it? Seeing Ye Xiaoyu's eyes at this moment, which were somewhat terrifyingly mischievous, Lin Feng subconsciously shrank his body. Look, with such an interesting fan meeting, shouldn't you, brother-in-law, also invite that Xiaoyu you've been hiding? After Ye Xiaoyu finished speaking, he seemed a little embarrassed, and finally laughed lewdly. Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and looking at the lewd-faced Ye Xiaoyu, a slight smile also appeared on his lips. You like this Xiaoyu so much, huh? Of course, my heart and soul are all on Xiaoyu right now. Brother-in-law, give me a chance to introduce her, please. Ye Xiaoyu rubbed his hands together, his loser aura on full display. All right, I'll go back and discuss it with your sister. I really hope you can maintain your current enthusiasm for your Xiaoyu. Lin Feng laughed mischievously. That's natural. Ye Xiaoyu patted his chest to guarantee. Brother-in-law, let's do something big this time. What? None of the TV stations invited you to this New Year's Eve concert? Are these TV stations crazy? You're a ratings guarantee now. While eating dinner that evening, Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu discussed the matter, and Ye Xiaoyu's face was filled with disbelief. It's like this. Seeing Ye Xiaoyu's excited expression, Lin Feng smiled and told her everything he knew. These people have really gone too far. They know you're my husband, yet they still dare to target you like this. I refuse to believe it. If I don't show them a thing or two today, they'll never know what I, Ye Xiaoyu, am capable of, Ye Xiaoyu said, then reached for her phone. Before, no one knew about the relationship between Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu, so targeting Lin Feng was understandable. But now that they know about Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu's relationship, they still dare to target Lin Feng like this? Isn't that a slap in Ye Xiaoyu's face? Hello Min, what do you mean? You sent an invitation earlier, inviting Lin Feng to participate in Madu TV Station's New Year's Eve concert, and now you're going back on your word? The one called Min was none other than the incredibly sassy queen in Ye Xiaoyu's group of sisters. And this queen's father was a very influential figure, the director of Madu TV Station. His status and power were absolutely solid. Lin Feng watched Ye Xiaoyu make the call, feeling a touch of emotion, but more than that, an indescribable awkwardness. It was as if he had suffered a grievance outside, returned home to cry to Ye Xiaoyu, and then Ye Xiaoyu immediately stood up for him. Wouldn't he just become a kept man? Thinking about it, it didn't seem so bad. All right, what kind of life values are these? Xiaoyu, you understand my dad's difficulties now, right? Your pretty boy husband, Yang Fan, is indeed very capable in his work, but even if he's at his peak, can he alone sustain more than 4 hours of performance? Okay, I understand. By the way, Min Min, I won't be attending Madu TV Station's New Year's Eve performance this time. I want to stay and support my dear husband, Ye Xiaoyu said softly after hearing Min Min's explanation. Don't be like that. You can come with your husband, it would also help us attract some traffic. Min Min on the other end of the phone sounded a bit anxious. Min Min, uncle is right to do this. We can't let the entire performance fail because of Lin Feng alone. Since no gala is inviting him, then I will host a gala for him. Saying that, Ye Xiaoyu hung up the phone. I know the truth now. This time some capital forces are trying to mess with you too, Ye Xiaoyu said to Lin Feng after putting down the phone. Capital? Have I offended them? Lin Feng was a little puzzled. You've monopolized this year's traffic, and that's the biggest provocation to those capital forces, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Every year, some capital forces would launch idol stars and new singers, then spend money to create traffic and scandals for them to gain a certain level of popularity. For example, when Yang Fan and Wang Yun appeared at Chen Zixuan, the Queen of Pop's concert, their backing company, Tianyu Entertainment Company, spent over 3 million to allow them to appear on Chen Zixuan, the Queen of Pop's farewell stage, even singing songs. However, Lin Feng ended up stealing their thunder, and many other entertainment companies faced similar situations. It's important to know that every year, those entertainment companies would invest heavily in their newcomers to maintain a certain level of popularity and topicality. For singers, they'd buy a team of internet trolls to boost their rankings. For actors, they'd buy a team of internet trolls to praise their acting. For those who couldn't act or sing, they'd put them in groups for variety shows. For example, things like Candy Super Sweet, Watermelon Super Sweet, Carrot Super Sweet. Or things like Rocket Girls, Aircraft Carrier Girls, Tank Girls, AK-48, UZ-46 and so on. Finally, on platforms like Kuishu, PlayStation Taoxiao, and social media, they'd buy all the trending topics they could. They'd spend money to create CPs for them. These CPs could be male and male, or even female and female. Through these operations, they would start to defraud money from fujoshis. After a few years, when they had extracted enough money from these fujoshis, they would abandon these individuals and cultivate a new batch, then use the same tactics to defraud the next wave. Such operations allowed those capital forces to make a fortune. However, this year was different. Because of Lin Feng's sudden rise, all the traffic, trending topics, and attention were concentrated on Lin Feng. To suppress Lin Feng's popularity, these capital forces even conspired to target him, but in the end Lin Feng not only wasn't brought down, his career soared. Therefore they set their sights on this New Year's Eve concert. It's important to know that the popularity and traffic of the New Year's Eve concert are second only to the Spring Festival Gala. All capital forces would push their young idols and girl groups onto the New Year's Eve concert stage, regardless of whether you sing, dance or act. For example, a female actress named Mimi from Tianyu Entertainment would appear on the New Year's Eve concert every year. Although her singing was average, her topicality was high. When she sang, she would wear a low-cut dress, singing and dancing, with those two enormous mounds bouncing as if they were about to burst out. Wouldn't that immediately boost her popularity? There were also some celebrity couples who would take this opportunity to sing a love song on stage. Never mind how well they sang the love song, but they absolutely had to spread the dog food effectively. Wouldn't that also boost their popularity? And then there were some new singers. The males absolutely had to wear heavy makeup. Their movements had to be graceful, and no matter how tired they were, they absolutely had to sound breathless after singing a song. Finally, they'd flirt with the audience, and wouldn't that boost their popularity? As for the female singers, their miniskirts absolutely had to be short, and then they'd accidentally flash a bit, and their popularity would definitely skyrocket. The so-called New Year's Eve concert doesn't necessarily require good singing. The most important thing is to create hype and be innovative. For example, if Yang Fan and Lin Feng were celebrating New Year's Eve in different places, Lin Feng would be passionately singing here, while Yang Fan, in another location, would be singing and then take off his pants. Then Yang Fan would definitely be trending and topical. Wouldn't he become popular then? Of course, this is just an example. Taking off pants is a bit extreme, but there are many other ways to attract attention. But the prerequisite for accomplishing these things now is to make Lin Feng disappear from this New Year's Eve concert. Because Lin Feng's songs are too classic, and his creative ability is too strong. If Lin Feng released a few new songs during New Year's Eve, what would they do then? Most importantly, Lin Feng had just announced his relationship recently. Good heavens, if Lin Feng appeared at this time, wouldn't all the topicality and popularity be focused entirely on him? After realizing this, those capital forces decided, Lin Feng must disappear from this year's New Year's Eve concert. Of course, some places are known for traditional performing arts. During New Year's Eve, they don't necessarily have to sing all the time, they can also perform skits and crosstalk. It's just that I don't know what the quality of skits and crosstalk is like in this world. That's right, this has potential. Lin Feng slapped his thigh and said softly. Crosstalk takes 20 to 30 minutes, and if it's performed well, the audience won't feel tired at all. Skits are the same, lasting about 20 minutes. And Lin Feng used to fall asleep listening to old Guo's crosstalk. Lin Feng knows old Guo's classic crosstalk by heart. There are also some crosstalk pieces that have fallen into the tiger's den, which are all masterpieces. And skits, so many good skits from Chen Xiaoyu, the king of skits in his heart, certainly don't exist in this world. If he were to bring them over. Captain, don't shoot, it's me. Lin Feng felt it had more and more potential. No sooner said than done. Lin Feng decided he would add crosstalk and skits to the fan meeting during New Year's Eve. Good heavens, it was just like Chinese New Year. He immediately called Xiao Fan to discuss this matter, but he learned from Xiao Fan that the crosstalk and skits in this world were not very interesting. Lin Feng said that was natural. After all, the songs in this world were like that, let alone crosstalk and skits. It's okay, Xiao Fan, you just focus on contacting people. Tell them that the skit scripts and crosstalk texts will be handled by me. With that, Lin Feng hung up the phone. Wow, I didn't expect you to be able to write skit scripts and crosstalk. You're really too talented, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile, looking at Lin Feng Of course, who am I? Being praised by the girl he liked. Even Lin Feng felt a little proud. No sooner said than done. In the last 10 days, Lin Feng stayed at home every day creating, while Xiao Fan was busy contacting people everywhere. And the largest living room in Ye Xiaoyu's manor began to be decorated. Speaking of which, this living room is really big, almost as spacious as an auditorium. The main stage is even more luxurious, and thousands of people can sit below. On the other side, as the New Year's Eve concert approached. This time, Lin Feng fans noticed something was amiss. It's New Year's Eve concert today. Why hasn't Lin Feng announced which TV station he'll be celebrating New Year's Eve on this year? A fan of Lin Feng asked online. You're right, it's true. Neither Lin Feng social platform nor Fangxing Entertainment Company's official platform has announced where Lin Feng will be celebrating New Year's Eve this year. That shouldn't be, there are only a few days left, it should have been decided by now. Brothers, I just checked the New Year's Eve concert rosters of various TV stations, and Lin Feng name isn't on any of them. Did Lin Feng not participate in this New Year's Eve concert? All of Lin Feng fans were a little flustered at this moment. They were still looking forward to hearing Lin Feng live again. After all, Lin Feng live performances are very rare. As a result, Lin Feng name was not on the New Year's Eve rosters announced by each TV station, which was a bit strange. Lin Feng fans didn't even consider the possibility that Lin Feng hadn't been invited. In their perception, these TV stations should be fighting tooth and nail to get Lin Feng because with Lin Feng current popularity and influence in the music scene, even the superstar Su Chen was defeated by Lin Feng No fool would be so stupid as to give up on Lin Feng So there was only one reason, and that was that Lin Feng simply hadn't accepted any TV station's invitation. Lin Feng simply didn't want to participate in the New Year's Eve concert. Brothers, I have news for everyone. Lin Feng wife, Xiaoyu, also did not appear on the guest list for Madu's New Year's Eve concert this time. You know, Xiaoyu is invited to watch Madu TV's New Year's Eve concert live every year. Since Xiaoyu isn't participating this time, I guess she's going to spend some alone time with Lin Feng da. It must be said that the imaginative abilities of some fans are truly wasted if they don't write novels. Holy cow, it's possible. After all, Lin Feng da isn't short on money, and with Lin Feng da's current popularity, he doesn't need to promote himself through a New Year's Eve concert anymore. Lin Feng da's fans analyzed it logically, but this point made those capitalists targeting Lin Feng da a bit unhappy. It was clearly under their joint calculations that Note TV station invited Lin Feng da. How did it now turn into Lin Feng da rejecting all TV station's invitations and voluntarily giving up? No, they must reveal the so-called truth. So, a group of internet trolls actively attacked online. Stop being so conceited. Lin Feng da doesn't want to participate in the New Year's Eve concert. I'll tell you brainless fans the truth. The truth is that Note TV station invited Lin Feng da. You're spouting nonsense. With Lin Feng da's popularity, how could Note TV station invite him? Lin Feng da's fans on this side were also anxious. Leaving aside other TV stations, just talk about Madu TV. You know Lin Feng da lives in Madu, and it only takes about 20 minutes to drive to the venue. Why didn't Lin Feng da even participate in Madu TV's New Year's Eve concert? Exactly. They say he's accompanying his wife, but you know Xiaoyu participates in Madu's New Year's Eve concert every year. Even if Xiaoyu doesn't participate this year, the concert starts at 7. It wouldn't take Lin Feng da too long to sing an opening song, and then he could still go on a date with Xiaoyu. Wouldn't it be the same? The fact is, Note TV station invited Lin Feng da to this New Year's Eve concert. Ha, you brainless fans, you really fantasize. He doesn't want to participate in the New Year's Eve concert? He wishes, but does anyone invite him? If you're so good at fantasizing, why don't you go write novels? Those people began to relentlessly mock Lin Feng da's fans. Didn't you always brag about how awesome Lin Feng da is? So awesome, how come he couldn't even get into a New Year's Eve concert? Some newly debuted singers were invited. What happened to Lin Feng da? Aren't you brainless fans embarrassing? All day long bragging about Lin Feng da's huge traffic and high popularity. Since he has such huge traffic and high popularity, how come he didn't even get on a New Year's Eve concert? You're spouting nonsense. What's a New Year's Eve concert? You know my idol sang 3 songs at the 70th anniversary of the victory in the anti-Japanese war gala. Compared to that gala, a New Year's Eve concert is a joke. They're anxious, some groups are anxious, but I won't say which group. I'll F*** your mother's ooh. I'll F*** 123,456. Finally, everyone returned to basics and chose to fight in the most traditional way online. The two sides began to directly confront each other online, using verbs like F*** and screw to greet each other's female elders. And they hoped to rent each other's female elders for a passionate love story, regardless of how old these female elders were, or whether they were already in their graves. I'll F*** your father's XXX. Of course, female fans also joined in. However, female fans joining didn't end well. The other side replied with a sentence. My father's capital is too big, I'm afraid you can't handle it. This completely ended the battle. And because of this incident, Lin Feng da once again inexplicably made it to the hot search. No, this arguing can't go on, it's just giving this kid free traffic. Seeing that Lin Feng could even make it to the trending topics like this, the capital forces behind him couldn't stand it. How did this Lin Feng get on the trending topics so easily? So, the next day, all the arguments disappeared. After all, even if Lin Feng's fans were ready for a four-handed keyboard duet online, they found that their opponents had vanished as soon as they logged on. That feeling of having strength, but nowhere to use it was really frustrating. However, just because these capital forces weren't stirring up trouble didn't mean Ye Xiaoyu wasn't. On the third day, Ye Xiaoyu solemnly announced on his personal social media platform and Fangxing Entertainment Company's social media platform. At 8 p.m. on December 31st, a small internal fan meeting would be held. Moreover, this fan meeting would be broadcast live simultaneously on the Kuoshu platform. Immediately, the performing guests for this fan meeting began to be announced. Lin Feng, Chen Zixuan, and Zhang Xian were naturally the first ones. There were also several new singers, all of whom had strong professional abilities but lacked fame and representative works. This time Zhang Xiaoyan and Chen Zixuan brought them along. Because these new singers weren't getting attention at their original companies, Ye Xiaoyu, with a wave of his hand, signed them all, which caused Zhang Xiaoyan and Chen Zixuan to curse him out. "We kindly invited people to support you, and you actually poached our company's talent." As a result, the executive of Zhang Xiaoyan's entertainment company, hearing that Ye Xiaoyu was willing to poach these singers at double the price, couldn't stop smiling. He had wanted to deal with these people for a long time. There was also a female singer named Deng Zifeng. Very few people had heard her name. No entertainment company had signed her. She was a platform-signed singer for Kumao music platform, specializing in covers on the Kumao platform. But Lin Feng knew her, because Where Have We Met Before was originally a duet between her and Lin Feng, but it was later snatched by Chen Zixuan, for which Lin Feng even promised her 2 songs as an apology gift. This time when Lin Feng went to the capital, he met this young girl and listened to her singing. Her voice was very pleasant, highly distinctive, and very cool, so Lin Feng wrote 2 songs for her. Somehow these 2 songs hadn't been released yet. When he called President Qin Tian to ask why, President Qin said they needed to wait for the right moment. So Lin Feng discussed with President Qin, and Fengxing Entertainment Company signed her. She was also invited to participate in this fan meeting. Besides these singers, there were also other people, such as crosstalk performers Guo Gang and Yu Qian. Sketch comedians, Chen Zhe and Zhu Ershi. Sketch comedians, Shen Feng Ma Mei. These were all excellent sketch and crosstalk performers. However, this world didn't pay much attention to sketches and crosstalk, and the quality of sketches and crosstalk in this world was also somewhat low, so they didn't have much popularity. But when they met Lin Feng would definitely give them their day in the sun. Finally, for whatever reason, Ye Xiaoyu, with a grand gesture, directly signed them all, and they could be placed in the film and television department. This move caused Sun Wai to curse him out. "You don't have many proper actors, and you signed several sketch comedians and crosstalk performers? What does that mean?" And the actors and singers participating in this fan meeting all had a feeling at this moment that they seemed to have come to sign a binding contract. Order. Share this post, and we will randomly select 300 lucky audience members to join us for this fan meeting performance. Immediately, Lin Feng, Chen Zixuan, and Zhang Xiaoyan each shared this post. As soon as this news came out, Lin Feng's fans were not excited, but rather looked melancholic. Their idol was truly as fierce as ever. Even in this situation, he still chose to confront people head-on. A performance would last at least 4 hours, right? At the very least, it had to last until midnight for the New Year's Eve countdown, right? How could just a few of you sustain it? 3 people, 1.5 hours each. Isn't this a small concert? And what kind of guests did you invite? Besides Chen Zixuan and Zhang Xiaoyan, these 2 big names, what were the others? And crosstalk performers and sketch comedians? Are you planning to perform crosstalk at your New Year's Eve fan meeting? Are you crazy? Many of Lin Feng's fans left messages on Lin Feng's and Fengxing Entertainment Company's social media platforms, telling them to let it go this time, that they didn't need to fight to the end in everything. And the fans of Zhang Xiaoyan and Chen Zixuan also left messages on their idol's social media platforms, telling them not to get involved in this mess. But the capital forces stirring up trouble behind the scenes were so happy that snot bubbles were coming out of their noses. Artists from entertainment companies who had grievances with Lin Feng and others all spoke up to mock them at this time. Has he always been this fierce, always liking to confront things head-on? Oh well, who told him he has a rich wife? Having money means being willful, right? Facing these online taunts and sarcasm, Lin Feng said nothing, but Ye Xiaoyu couldn't stand it. What a joke! I, Ye Xiaoyu, am a super-rich second-generation heir from the demon capital. All my life, I have only mocked others, and besides my sister, no one has ever dared to mock me like this. You bunch of idiots, if you want to laugh, hurry up and laugh while there are still a few days left. On December 31st, I will make you all kneel and call me daddy. These words were incredibly arrogant, not only declaring war on the entire entertainment industry, but also on the capital forces behind them. At this point, some people asked, wasn't Ye Xiaoyu afraid of offending capital so much? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? His sister is Ye Xiaoyu, one of the biggest capitalists in all of Huaxia. So Lin Feng, Ye Xiaoyu, and Fengxing Entertainment Company behind them once again made it to the trending topics. Making it to the trending topics is like his girlfriend, he can get on whenever he wants. A singer who had never made it to the trending topics in his life was speechless when he saw Lin Feng trending again, then complained. After Ye Xiaoyu's move, the topic immediately became hot again. Those who supported Lin Feng and those who didn't were all waiting for Lin Feng at this moment. Those who supported Lin Feng were undoubtedly looking forward to whether he would release new songs. And those who didn't support Lin Feng were waiting to see him make a fool of himself. There's a New Year's Eve concert every year, but this year it's really extra exciting. Time flew by, and soon it was December 31st. After dinner that evening, the directors backstage at various TV stations' New Year's Eve concerts began to get busy as batches of audience members started entering the venues. Staff began making final checks on the stage lighting and sound. The station managers of the major TV networks personally came to the New Year's Eve concert venues, sitting at the front round tables with leaders from various regions and renowned entrepreneurs. This was arguably the grandest gala of the year for all the major TV stations, and no one dared to be careless, fearing that their oversight might lead to a mishap during the concert. Compared to the frantic and oppressive atmosphere backstage at the various New Year's Eve concerts, Lin Feng and the others at the manor were much more relaxed. Huaishu's staff had already set up all the live broadcast equipment. This time, Lin Feng and the others' performance venue was the largest living room in the manor. This living room was large enough to accommodate 1,000 people. It was now arranged with a main stage at the very front and a circular substage about 10 meters in diameter in the center of the living room. The scale of this stage was no smaller than those of the New Year's Eve concerts, and most importantly, even with these two stages set up, there was still plenty of space in the living room. The 300 lucky audience members also arrived here and were arranged in the living room, where a lavish banquet had been prepared for them, with 10 people per table, totaling 30 tables. The vast living room was resplendent, and because the heating was on, no one felt any cold, even in this month. These fans were seeing their idols up close for the first time and were incredibly excited. The entire venue was very orderly, with everyone seated around dining tables, chatting, eating, and waiting for the performance to begin. At 7 p.m., the hosts of various TV stations slowly walked onto the stages of their respective New Year's Eve concerts amidst dazzling lights, and with the hosts' appearances, the fans began to cheer enthusiastically. The hosts delivered an impassioned speech lasting about 10 minutes, and at around 7:30 p.m., finally, the performances of the major TV stations officially began. And with the official start of the performances, it became a busy time for the fans who couldn't attend in person. The target audience for these New Year's Eve concerts was almost entirely teenagers, while some middle-aged and older people would turn on Hua Shi-wan to watch Hua Shi-wan's New Year's Eve program on this day. Hua Shi-wan's New Year's Eve program generally didn't interest teenagers. It was mostly watched by parents or the older generation. Some parents or grandparents would casually pick a channel, watch 2 episodes of a TV show, and then go to bed early. But for teenagers, tonight was a very busy evening because with all the major TV stations hosting New Year's Eve concerts, their favorite singers were divided among them, so they would usually watch on their computers, opening multiple video players to switch between channels, keeping themselves incredibly busy. However, due to the new regulations from above this year, all singers were strictly forbidden from lip-syncing. So, less than half an hour after the concerts began, a series of blunders started appearing one after another across the major TV stations. A singer on one TV station's performance cracked his voice, a singer on another TV station went off-key, music came in at the wrong time, lyrics were sung incorrectly, lines were forgotten. A series of such accidents occurred successively. The live audience fared a bit better, but viewers watching the live streams at home began to complain wildly. "Oh my god, everyone, quickly go watch Mango TV's live stream." This guy went off key after just 2 lines and stayed off key until the end of the song, a netizen complained in an online comment section specifically for the major TV station's New Year's Eve performances. "Isn't that Xiao Zhan? Ha 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 ha, he claims to be a young actor, but he hasn't even figured out acting yet, and he's already singing. I sing better than him, someone else complained. E Chinese, letter Chinese, letter Chinese, letter Chinese, letter traffic stars, have no works, no talent, I just don't know how they became popular. What do you know? My Jeej is handsome, and we love him just by him standing there. Of course, good acting or good singing are secondary to those little fairies. They only care that their Jeej is handsome. If he gets into a scandal, they can even ship a CP. Oh my god, what is this singing? A group of men dressed neither like men nor women, singing like mosquitoes? Why don't they just stop being men? Get castrated and be women instead. At this moment, a fan who watched Blue Moon TV posted another complaint. Oh my god, I listened to 5 songs and 4 of them were off key. It was really painful to listen to. At first, it's all new artists, not very interesting. It'll get better when the veteran singers come out later, a fan said at this point. But those veteran singers just sing the same old few songs, I'm tired of hearing them, someone replied. This New Year's Eve concert is really boring. The concert had just begun, and someone was already saying this. One might have thought this person was Lin Feng's fan. Seriously, there's no novelty at all. It's just the same few people singing the same few songs. I even want to play games now. Brothers, should we start a game of elementary school alliance? Count me in. Count me in. Immediately after, the comment section began discussing other things. Meanwhile, the directors of the major TV stations, watching their show's ratings already showing a downward trend, just as it began, couldn't help but feel a little distressed. Because of the new rule this year prohibiting lip-syncing, some traffic singers and variety show actors couldn't mouth along. Although it was half playback, the singing was so off-key that it had gone to Grandma's house, which is why the ratings started to slide right at the beginning of the concert. Although some powerful singers had not yet taken the stage, the station managers and directors of the major TV stations were well aware that this time, the ratings for each TV station would likely be much lower than usual. Hey, what do you guys think about Lin Feng and their fan meeting? Someone said at this moment. Didn't you see the guests for Lin Feng's fan meeting? Only 3 recognizable ones, plus some sketch and crosstalk actors. It's definitely going to be even more boring, someone replied. Meanwhile, on Lin Feng's side, all the actors and fans had taken their seats by around 7:30 p.m. However, Lin Feng and the others didn't immediately start the performances but had dinner first. Lin Feng, Zhang Xiaoyu, and the others raised their glasses and celebrated with the fans, and the atmosphere instantly became lively. At 7:50, Lin Feng nodded to the Kuaishu staff on site, signaling that they could start the live broadcast. The moment the live stream opened, over 2 million viewers flooded in. These were loyal fans of Lin Feng, Zhang Xiaoyu, and the others. To put it bluntly, they were die-hard fans. However, when they opened the live stream, the camera was aimed at the main stage. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu, in a red dress, slowly walked onto the main stage to guest host. Since Ye Xiaoyu had hosted all of the E Group's large team-building events and annual meetings, this was old hat for her. Oh my god, who is this beauty? She's too gorgeous. Oh my god, she looks like a queen, high and mighty. Ye Xiaoyu has a very beautiful appearance, and today, Ye Xiaoyu's red dress highlighted her noble temperament, and she even wore some man's layer lipstick. As a rough guy, he didn't quite understand it, but in other words, the made-up Ye Xiaoyu had an undeniable queenly aura. After delivering a speech, Ye Xiaoyu began to introduce the first act of the evening. Next, please enjoy the song Love You, performed by Wang Xinyu. With that, Ye Xiaoyu walked to the side of the main stage, and on the stage, the lights began to flash. A very sweet female voice rang out. Love You tilde. Immediately after, cheerful music began to play, and under this cheerful music, Wang Xinyu, in a very short skirt, slowly ascended from below the main stage. Who is this Wang Xinyu? We want to hear Lin Feng. Sister, I came for Lin Feng and you're starting with someone I don't know? Are you playing with me? I've been watching the Kuaishu live stream since 7 o'clock, and you give me this to start? Are you messing with me? What kind of crappy show is this? We want Lin Feng. Most of these viewers came to listen to Lin Feng, Zhang Xiaoyu, and Chen Zixuan, planning to leave after hearing them, but starting with an unfamiliar female singer named Wang Xinyu naturally caused dissatisfaction among the audience. Love you? I don't love you, get off the stage, we want Lin Feng. Because it was real-time interaction, Wang Xinyu could also glimpse these bullet comments from the corner of her eye. Upon seeing a barrage of insults, Wang Xinyu's eyes immediately showed a hint of panic, but she gritted her teeth and continued to twist to the beat. After the male rap and the intro finished, Wang Xinyu finally